All right, very well. Well, it is time to find out if Team Spirit will be going home or if they can survive and God strength themselves through this series. Let's go ahead and pass it over to our casters to get into.
Yep, here we are, Team Spirit, one game away from elimination from the Major Lacoste. And this draft, it looks quite interesting, right? The Sven last pick, that Invoker, I think team might be right. Going Exort could be a good idea, because Vici, across the board, have responses and answers to everything Spirit.
Vici Gaming, Tricore, once again, super tanky. You have Dragonite on the off lane, you have Kunkka on the mid lane, a Juggernaut. These heroes are not easy to take down. The healing ward, the rum buff. I'm a bit worried for the damage output. You know, Sven, they needed a hero that benefits from the Grimstroke ulti, anything that you can throw inside of that leash mechanic as well. And also, they needed a good carry-to-carry matchup. Sven, you know, he can't take over. He can stay ahead of the Juggernaut because he has a built-in cleave. But yeah, let's see what they're gonna do. Kunkka will be played on the mid lane as panel discussed. It could have also been a flex pick. If they decided to put Lina on a mid against Invoker, still good matchup for Lina. Maybe even slightly better for Kunkka.
And that Ancient Apparition brings a lot of problems as well. You know, the Ice Blast getting onto Sven, onto any of these heroes, right, could just blow them up with a DK stun. They've got great pairings across the board. DK Lina, DK AA, Kunkka Lina, Kunkka AA. Any pairings or trios of these heroes, they're gank squads, basically, that could go looking for kill after kill. So I really feel like laning stage for Team Spirit matters a lot in this game in particular. They've got to get a lot out of this Sven with the Grimstroke, that Ink Spell combo that Panel was mentioning. Invoker does go Quas level 1, so we'll see if he goes Quas Wex early and then transitions later into Exort. Because it would have been nice to see some Sunstrike kills early on in this lane stage as they do get a two-man Stormhammer. In comes Yatoro, the Cold Snap on the DK, and a great pickoff. Hold 11. Immediately dispatched with by Team Spirit, and that's how you want to start your lane stage when you need to win.
Surprised they decided to take the fight. You see Sven, level 1, you probably want to run away, and also the stun connected on Lina. Maybe if it didn't, LSA could buy a bit more time. So yeah, Old 11 getting a free TP. 100 gold. How much gold did they got? 270 for Mira. That's only 170.
Quick math from Lacoste. Yeah, makes up
Arrow actually hits.
Oh, they catch him out. Lina down bottom.
She dead.
Right click down. PYW, Fairy Fire stick charge. Not enough to survive. Defensive tri-lane there from Team Spirit in that first 45 seconds. Gathers himself up. Another kill. So Lina DK shut down from the get-go.
Also, top lane, they don't have a stun. You usually want to pair up Juggernaut with any kind of stun, any kind of slow. A8 doesn't provide you with that. So that's going to be a bit of an issue. Mirana should not die in this lane with the leap. Should be able to do well. Tell
us what Mirana did wrong there.
Oh, what did she do wrong?
That Sentry Ward.
Oh, Sentry Ward. Yeah, it doesn't reach the enemy Sentry Ward. Usually you place it in the middle. So it reaches out, and then you deny your own Sentry Ward, because it covers the whole area.
Yeah, slight mistakes, that means
I was like, arrow isn't available. I don't know. Did she not shoot the arrow? Because I was watching a different part of the map.
She just didn't get the D ward. So DY keeps that top lane open for themselves. No pull's going to be happening. And down here, Miposhka, Yatoro having a decent time. And 4-1 CS on Sven, still getting chain stunned up by this Light Striker, right? The Dragon Tail from DK being pushed towards them.
It's a killer lane. Dragonite needs to be very careful early on, because Grimstroke is already level 2. Inkswell. Good thing is, Sven doesn't have much mana to work with. 2 mangoes available on a Grimstroke, so he might pop it on Yatoro.
Old 11's not as tanky as he may think he is. Good deny from Miposhka there. Takes out the range creep. And both sides, honestly, have kill threat on each other. Especially once we get into level 3 for both of these bottom laners. And how's the mid lane going then? Because Invoker against Kunkka, usually we see the Kunkka completely slaughter this matchup, don't we?
Yeah, it just gets easier for Kunkka. He hits that level 3. Needs to be aware of that. Range creep deny, either hit it once, use a torrent. And now level 4 against 3.5 on Invoker. Kind of struggling with the damage. We've seen this build from Miracle being very popular. Double Null Talismans into either a Magic Wand, into Hand of Midas. Different styles, but he wants to be very active early on. Just have that mana regeneration from 2 Nullies and also a bit of a cheap early damage.
Well, they miss out on the attempt on the Sven. And there's a nice kind of pseudo deny in that mid lane. The ability just to taunt the Invoker when he's going for a range range creep last hit. Don't get the actual deny, but you stop your opponent from getting the last hit itself. Top lane poyoyo speared up against the trees. Arrow chain combo there, but his healing ward and his stick keep him up and running.
Playing Mirana. Try to go for that deny on a healing ward. Now in a bit of a trouble, forced to use another leap.
2 leaps down. Do you want to see Mira maybe moving in towards mid lane? Can you kill the Kunkka with Invoker plus Mirana, or do you need more?
You look stunned.
I don't think you can. Kunkka is a bit too tanky. Class Vex Invoker doesn't provide you with much. Maybe if you harass him a bit, but right now sitting at the full bottle, has that water rune. I don't think you can die.
Pretty impossible to take him down. I mean, that feels like the case across all the lanes, right? Juggernaut with spin, difficult to gank into. Kunkka, tanky, difficult to gank into. Then DK Lina offering so many stuns as the Light Strike array there slows down the Sven, but Miposhka, he thinks swelled himself up and they'll chase PYW, but a wise TP gets him out of the grasp of Team Spirit.
PYW, good choice there, TPing out. Understands that there are no stuns, they have not enough damage. And also leaves Old 11 with some solo XP here on the bottom lane.
I'm sure some of you missed that, but yeah, Lacoste did just call him PYW.
Yeah, just, you know.
I almost missed it. I almost missed it myself. I had to turn and look at you. You're smiling, grinning at me.
Why is he smiling?
Cheeky. Why is he grinning? Well, yeah, PYW now, bounty rune. Has boots up, should be able to get away a bit of distance there from any kind of go. Nice tank of the arrow by DY. Likely going to be dying himself, but he keeps poyoyo alive and he allows him to spin himself. That's earn charges though on Mira's Mirana.
That's sometimes all you need. Like you get that early kill, Urn of Shadows. You need a bit of an extra damage. AA needs to be careful. I don't think he needed to block that arrow. Poyoyo should be okay. You got a healing salve on AA plus a healing ward, so that would bring him back to full HP. Bottom lane, a lot of harassment coming up onto Yatoro's Sven.
Oh, look
Another
at that.
Arrow.
Thanks, guys.
Mira, a spear arrow just so beautifully setting up on the Juggernaut. Knowing that Spin was on cooldown, going for it in this mid lane. They do have this X-Mark with the boat, dodging the tornado, cold snap, keeps him in place. Down just a bit lacking though into the Quas regen of Toronto Tokyo.
Miposhka is always ready for these TP rotations. Whenever he feels that his mid lane is threatened, PYW, there's the stun.
There we go, catch the Invoker. Toronto Tokyo wasn't expecting that. Good rotation from PYW, and Old 11, of course, able just to self-sustain bottom. Poyoyo does the same thing top lane. So you're forcing this convergence of Radiant heroes into mid, making sure that Team Spirit have to fight around their Invoker, and you don't get that side lane ganking action from it.
Tower is under attack.
Good
first usage of the Ghost Ship. Didn't get the kill like straight away, but they got the kill from the rotation from Lina. Mars doing really well, 34 and 11. We can see Invoker struggling against Kunkka, as expected, sitting at the 22 CS, while Kunkka having 40. A lot of those are small camp. Invoker's really not good at pushing out the wave and farming the small camp. One of the reasons why we don't... we see Invoker decent amount. It's just not one of his strengths compared to like Lina mid, Kunkka mid.
Oh, Yatoro trying to clear through some of his own jungle camps here. Does have Miposhka to help him with an Ink Swell and a Phantom's Embrace. Vici Gaming. And give up on chasing out that Sven. Just coming back though to that mid-game gank, the mid-lane gank, where Lina came in kind of as a second wave of initiation, right? I mean, that's Vici Gaming planning like a minute ahead, knowing Team Spirit's going to react, respond to what they're doing.
You can plan that, because your Dragonite on the bottom should not die. He gets a couple of items, Soul Ring, Belt of Giant Strength, Magic Wand, becomes a bit too tanky. 1 point in stun from Sven is not enough. Grimstroke also not a high level. Sven definitely needs that Morbid Mask. I don't think he's gonna go for the power threat, just wants to have sustain in the jungle. First Dragon form on the bottom. Dragonite will put a ton of pressure on the tower. They might even need to rotate one extra hero just to be able to defend it.
Something Grimstroke's usually pretty good at in this support role is clearing out waves. Similar to the Treant, the Keeper of the Lights of the world. You just spam Stroke of Fate. clear out the creep waves, make sure the tower push doesn't come. But when you're against a Dragon Knight who just does raw structural damage, it can be worrisome as they do Arena Spear him, trying to stop this push coming in on 11. Caught up with the Ink Swell, chain stun to perfection, and even Toronto Tokyo arriving to try and gather up some of that spilled out XP and gold.
Definitely not needed for Invoker to TP. They have enough damage, they defend the tower, and now both lanes are opened up. We can see on a mid lane, DY collecting some XP. They're even trying to think about going on him. Half HP, uses a stun, out pushes the lane. And I believe that's the Morbid Mass coming out to Sven.
Yeah, he's got it. Honestly, I think the Invoker wasn't there for damage or moral support or anything. I think he TP bottom to try and get the last hit. He's going straight into Hand of Midas, so no phase boots, no urn, no drums. Straight towards this scaling item on a Quaswex Invoker.
Yeah, very greedy.
Well, do get a catch. That AMP is going to burn through the majority of DK's mana pool, but the Light Strike Array both connecting means Mars is now the target, stuck in between VG Gaming's heroes. Mirana TPing. That's quite aggressive. Front lining into the chain stuns, and VG Gaming get another one. Freebie handed to them.
Too tanky. He also has a raindrop on Dragonite. Once the boat kicks in, the damage reduction, it's just not enough damage, and this should be a free tier 1 tower for them.
It feels like the perfect old 11 hero. He's naturally tanky, great at pushing towers, he's got a stun, can be that blink initiator. He can't really mess it up, can he?
No, with Dragonite, maybe you can misclick a Dragon Tail on, I don't know, a creep, and that's it. That's the biggest thing you can misclick on the Dragonite, biggest misplay.
Oh, he's getting incredibly farmed. 4,000, slightly ahead of his own Juggernaut. And PYW going to be able to lap up some of that mid lane XP to head to 6.
Bounty.
As we see Battle Fury Jug being built, I believe there. Yeah, Broadsword, Ring of Health queued. An item that we've just not seen very much of in the past maybe month and a half.
Yeah, for a reason it's a bit too slow. Maybe he thinks it's needed. The other hero has a built-in cleave. I also want to have a cleave. Match up nicely against him. I would prefer if it's like Maelstrom into SNY, because status resistance is really good against all of the heroes pretty much that they got. Cold Snap, Mars with the stun, same goes for Sven.
Yeah, like when you think about the other hero that used to go Battle Fury, he's done the same thing, the Troll Warlord, right?
Yes.
Kind of fell out of favor when Battle Fury became less optimal, and like you say, Maelstrom into that SNY was a key item pickup for him. Good leap. Mira gets away from that mark.
That was perfectly timed by Mira.
Yeah, wonderfully done. And Armlet completed now for Ori, so a really strong timing here around a couple of their core heroes. Level 6s on the supports, they've got Armlet Kunkka, DK's ready with his treads and his soul ring. They can actually move out and look to smoke gank.
Is he really going for it? I see Echo Saber on Kunkka.
Oh, that's interesting. They've got his X-Mark cloak straight in towards Collapse, spinning towards the Mars. The Laguna played him down, sent to Oblivion.
I don't see too much benefit from it, because your Tidebringer is on cooldown, so you don't have a cleave. I've seen different heroes experimenting with Echo Saber. We've seen Phantom Assassin, we've seen Spectre being very viable. I've seen high-level pubs with Tango mid going for it. It felt really good. Echo Saber into either Diffusal or a Basher into Aghanim Scepter. If you're watching this, if you're listening, like, what is this guy talking about? Try it at home, let me know how it goes. I'm telling you, it has a ton of potential on Pango.
It sure does, yeah. I remember you and Fog talking about it and saying it's just straight up broken. How much of it... Oh, actually, Poyo. Is he going to get caught here? He's got himself a spin, he's holding it. Spin TP. And yet again, nothing to stop him. So how much of this Echo Saber, because I feel like there's two arguments around it. There's it's a great item, you get tanky, you've got mana regen, it fills a lot of roles and slots.
I think I see what he's doing. He might actually get Echo Saber, increase his farm, get possibly an Orchid, which I don't mind. I've seen mid Kunkkas going Orchid and then disassemble, go into BKB. I think that might be the play here. Just Echo Saber, but I don't know which order it's gonna be. I would prefer if he gets a BKB.
That's what I was going to ask. How much of the thought process is that disassembling of items? Because we're seeing a lot more of that, especially in this major. Disassembling arcanes into...
It's just players got better at it. They put too much trust in it, I would say. Like, didn't experiment with it. And then now, during this major, it just became a thing.
As we used to see the only real heroes doing it were like the old Tranquil boots and Arcane boots where you'd swap between them with like Jungle Axe. Bloodstone for Storm Spirit was probably the biggest one where we saw disassembling into a bigger item. But now, you know, we're disassembling Arcanes. It's a Holy Locket. Echo Saber in towards BKB or whatever you want from that. Vici Gaming ready themselves for a mid lane push. Toronto, Tokyo sat in that mid lane. Starts to get back into the exort. Cold snap forward, but a DK blink stun. Nice blast onto the Invoker as well. On connecting, they've dusted him up and finishing him with the Laguna Blade.
Yeah. Torrent Tokyo, he gets brought down easily. It's just the Dragon Tail stunning.
They want to fight this. God's Strength, though, is held in place. Great Light Strike array. The arrow connecting into the back, though, as poyoyo front line. Omni Slash slicing into the Sven. They've soloed him.
He didn't get the Warcry off.
Perfectly targeted by Vici Gaming. And Poshka's going to fall immediately after. Collapsing Mirror, Trine Arena, Spear. Ancient Apparition, the only target they can go for. And that X mark.
One leap left.
Not paying off into the Torrent, but Old 11 there yet again. He starts the fight with a blink stun, and bloody well he ends it with one.
This is a great fight for Vici Gaming. Nice initiation from Old 11 with that blink dagger. Jumps in, gets one of the supports. It's a long duration stun. Great setup for Ancient Apparition. They also managed to get the tower off from this movement on the mid. Juggernaut needs 1,000 gold to finish off his Battle Fury. It's still going to be a decent time in, like 14 and a half, 15 minutes Battle Fury on top of the phase boots, magic wand, a lot of small items invested, so a bit delayed.
It honestly feels like, you know, this is another game where Vici have a great amount of catch, kill, and destruction. Here we see it coming into play against Collapse. But the, the draft, the playstyle, the execution from Vici Gaming, I don't know what that's for breakfast, but they've been spot on so far in these first couple of games. Team Spirit, should we be worried at this point? 5k lead, 14 minutes in.
I'd be pretty worried because they don't have enough damage. Sven was slowed down. He has less amount of farm than Juggernaut at this point. Dragonite is so active. He plays with the supports well because you have one way of setting things up for Ancient Apparition. Like even if you play with Lina only, they're showing on the map, you still have enough time to land a big AA blast once Dragonite initiates. They can also like get another big fight, turn that into Roche easily.
So every kill that Spirit can get, vitally important, especially onto their cores. PYW though, with Boots of Travel on his Lina, Windlace as well, incredibly speedy. My goodness, just walks it off. Now Yatta are dragged into the Torrent. Good disarm out of the Deafening Blast, but Sven, he's still trapped here. Old 11 with a stun out, and poyoyo comes in to allow Ori to take him down.
We'll clean him up. He gets almost 400 gold for it, gets some good levels. Very aggressive, very greedy build coming out from PYW's Lina. Boots of Travel. I think he can afford to go for it.
In this situation, I was going insane.
Yeah, allows them to play the side lanes much more active with the Dragonite. Like you see one hero, suddenly there could be Lina, someone initiating from the fog.
That is really clever as well. I mean, that's a blink stun. We'll come back in a second as they do Ice Blast into Mirror. I mean, Portugal with the Ink Swell connected onto two of them for the boat. The Coco's Rum will buff them up, and poyoyo's Healing Ward will allow them to sustain this easily. Another catch there from PYW. Toronto Tokyo out of mana, but he runs back behind his tower. All thanks to that Moonlight Shadow, which Team Spirit will use to disengage.
Top tower is under attack.
Echo Saber against Phantom's Embrace though.
Yeah, the double hit against it. It's nice, but I believe he's just gonna disassemble it, as I mentioned, get a BKB from it, and also get Orchid after the BKB.
And you step just an inch too far forward, and all 11 is there, ready to catch you, make you pay, and the punishment continues. Vici Gaming find another kill.
Good X mark. Poyoyo also blocks the arrow with the spin. Old 11, no dragon form available. Once they get the BKBs, they have no damage that goes through it. They need Sven's right clicks, and Sven's still not online.
That's the thing. I was going to start bringing up the fact that the difference between the Jug and the Sven and the DK and the Mars, it isn't that tremendous. But you look at the difference between Kunkka and Invoker right now. That's like 4,000 net worth difference. That is half of the lead Vici Gaming have.
He needs this Aghanim Scepter. I don't think they should be taking the fights. Try to maybe get a pick off with the 3 other heroes. You have 1 point in Exort, so you need to start putting more in it. You're a bit under leveled. Sven
dead yet again.
Looks very dead.
Can't escape. Again, the execution coming in from Vici Gaming. It's sublime. They find the hero. cast their spells perfectly. And Alt 11's even going to play a little more aggressively towards that bottom jungle. Has DY to back him up. Arcane's an urn there for the Ancient Apparition, and the jump onto Miposhka. Grimstroke has an arrow to actually get dodged by Alt 11. So now with that urn and the right-click attacks just from this Dragon Knight, finds himself another kill.
Alt 11 completely popping up in this game, super active around the map, playing with the supports. This is Vici Gaming that I know. And,
12 out of 15, man.
Yeah, not too bad. We've seen in the previous game that you can have more than 100 kill participation, 100%.
Miposhka's Oracle showing that off. What do we have? Kunkka there at 508, so he's 13 out of 15. I think the Ancient Apparition was also 12 out of the 15 as well. So we've got 3 heroes there, all combining together, making up 80% of the kills. A tier 2 tower early on here for Vici, so that's going to be bottom outpost for them, while also defending top with the Kunkka. Right now, I guess, do we have Recipe coming? He might be disassembling that Echo Saber soon. I'm just wondering if he wants to keep it.
Might want to keep it. Sven also has Echo Saber. He might need to disassemble it and go back to it, because BKB is definitely needed. There's too many stuns.
Desperate.
Mask of Madness Echo Saber is... I'm not a big fan, because you still need a BKB early on. You need a possibly mobility item if you don't have anyone to set things up for you. A lot of gold invested. Both of these are farming tools, so I assume he's going to disassemble the Echo Saber.
How important is it in these kind of games for Sven to be ahead of his counterparts, of his opponents? Because sometimes it feels like there's that alchemist factor, where you have a steroid, you have an ability to outfarm your opponents. But if you're behind them, your itemization always feels really, really lackluster.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, that's true. Kunkka, Imp Claw, Gary, of course, he found the item.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's so much damage. In the end, he didn't even disassemble it. Like, he just kept the whole Echo Saber.
It feels good. Yeah, it feels good. Do it. We're going into Aghanim Scepter next on that Juggernaut, it looks like. And Vici Gaming into the Roshan pit. Good D-wards.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
DY makes sure the vision here for the Radiant is limited, not completely lacking. And what's that? Triple Observer Wards from the Dire. Nice little snake across from that top lane through to mid. And even a lane ward there, a little bit deeper. Where the tier 1 used to be.
You have 1 BKB done. Dragon Knight just needs 50 gold. After finishing the Roshan, BKB will be online after he uses the Courier. Limited damage. They just don't have enough damage. They need to get a good jump, possibly, maybe with the Moonlight Shadow.
Cataclysm is the big thing, right?
Cataclysm is the big thing. 3 points in Exort, 300 gold away from it, so not too much damage. They have ways to set things up. With Arrow, Soulbind, Stun from a Grimstroke Arena. There's a lot of ways. They need to buy time.
Try and extend this one out, and that's why Mira currently up at top, cutting waves. Catch on bottom, though. Mars under Moonlight Shadow. DY's coming across. Good spear. Gets him away from the dust there, I believe. Yeah, doesn't get tapped by it, but still with the X mark dragging it. So that Ice Blast and the finishing touch shatters him. It was a good attempt by Collapse to get away from it, and it does create a bit of a pocket there for the Sven to farm Ancients, but you also see Poyoyo doing exactly the same thing on the Radiant side of the map. Yatoro still so distant from that BKB. And Aghanim Scepter is on the Invoker now, but like you were saying, it's what, only like 3-4 points in Exort. He needs way more. See the full efficacy of that Cataclysm Sunstrike. And his team fights later on. Team Spirit again have to execute perfectly because Vici Gaming have been on a roll this series.
Radiant's middle tower is
giving
under
up
attack.
Absolutely no quarter.
Courier has been killed.
Right now, just cutting the waves, trying to buy time. Mira on the top lane. Sven did the exact same thing on the bottom wave. So, buy time, shopkeeper, please. How much is 1 hour? We need to buy some time. Maybe not an hour, but we need like 15 minutes.
Give us time, please. Oh, these wards.
I was about to say,
these wards, man.
Starting them out.
All the lanes.
When they're getting out of the lane, when they're trying to outpush one of the lanes. Kunkka now going into AC.
And look at PYW. You might actually find Mira here. Hello with the Yule Scepter. And goodbye with the Light Strike Array. He stunned her up. Laguna Blade Mira leaps across the trees. TPs. And should be home safe and sound. A longer cooldown on the Light Strike Array means that PYW couldn't get the finish.
PYW is playing mid Lena from a few years ago. Boots of Travel, Yule Scepter into Shadow Blade. Wants to be able to heal people on the side because he understands what they want to do is cut the creep waves. So needs to play with Ancient Apparition globally. He can set things up with the Boots of Travel, maybe bring one extra hero. Can't really do it alone. It's very hard to just solo kill people at this point.
Yeah, you need that additional backup. And genuinely, DY has just been a monster. Rewarding everything. Like, there's not a single bit of vision for the Radiant right now, I believe, outside of the creep waves. Because he's literally dewarded everything. He's kept all of his observer wards up, you know, the top lane, back in his own triangle. Yeah, there's nothing out there from the Radiant side. Oh, there's one down bottom there, we can see. It's going to scout out the Ancient Apparition. So the vision for Collapse opens it up on DY. Gets the Vortex and a Cold Feet. Torrent misses, but Ori is arriving in with PYW, and Collapse can't finish off DY.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
That Raindrop keeping him alive. Casual Fluffy Hat has Urn of Shadows on top of it. Very tanky. Also some extra stats coming out from the Ocean Heart.
And another catch. Everywhere you look, it's VG Gaming finding Radiant heroes, weaseling themselves out into these open map areas. Mira is gonna, again, double leap TP home.
It's very hard to maintain the vision. You pointed out the DY, devoting most of the stuff. Now they have a 11 holding on to Gem.
That makes things so very difficult.
Radiant's
And the net worth leader just keeps on building.
Gets a courier.
Has
Scotty queued up. Interesting.
On the DK.
Maybe it's better to just get the Aghanim Scepter, but yeah.
I guess against the Sven, it's pretty good.
I mean, you get the same amount of slow from the Aghanim Scepter on top of other benefits. I'd prefer if that's Aghanim Scepter, but old 11 can't blame him. Pretty much had the perfect series so far.
He's probably like, is anyone else going to buy Scotty? Juggernaut, are you going to buy
Scotty? Also, Kunkka stole his item. He would love to get AC.
Collapse. Cold Feet did it. Has to spear forward. Couldn't get the back spear. Even with the arrow there.
Full Omni.
That's an Omni Slash coming out onto that Mars. Collapse has the backup of the Forward Spirit, so he won't be dying. But VG Gaming forcing that heavy rotation. Team Spirit need to defend their high ground with everything they've got.
Aegis Regeneration kicking in.
And this map becomes incredibly small. If they can get that D ward. Oh, they smoke under dire vision. They know. Look at that preemptive blink torrent from Ori to catch out the blink target. Spear whips out inside the arena. Good soul bind, but the BKBs are up for VG Gaming, so they just slaughter Collapse. And Yatoro. He's got TP at the ready. And Boschka might be caught here. Light Strike Array threats between the two of them.
That was so close. Could have been a disaster. If PYW catches him with the Yule Scepter, he will pop a BKB but still die. Maybe gets a return kill. And he disassembled the Echo Saber, understands I need that BKB straight away. I need to be able to protect myself. 18,000 gold lead, even without Aegis. They're still going to go threaten the high ground. Dragon form available in a second. Still very close to level 18. Let's see if he wants to wait to get that level 18 before the Dragon form or not. Wants to put some more pressure on the tower, so he's gonna get it on top of the Davion scale, the neutral item that he's holding.
There's nothing stopping them. They're diving behind on the Toronto Tokyo. It gets blown up completely. Buy back out of the Invoker, but your racks are still under pressure. VG Gaming just destroying these structures so quickly with a catapult wave behind them. It honestly feels like Team Spirit have maybe one fight left in them at this point.
A buyback from Toronto Tokyo will set it back quite hard in terms of getting the items. This might be it, Gary. I don't know if they have enough items. They still didn't use their BKBs.
They're going to try. They've got to try. Link Spear, Cataclysm comes in, down a half HP. And trying to burst through him so quickly, and they get him with a deafening blast. Ori's gone. But Yatoro trading out as Old 11 and Poyoyo move towards Mira. Oh, hello, another arena. Where's the Spear? Got to be back. Healing ward down. They can't find it just yet. Collapse.
Omni
takes down the healing, and Poyoyo safety. The right click's on enough while the dieback on the Invoker. Great Laguna Blade catch, and the Omni Slash, there's the second one. Finds collapse, a triple for poyoyo, and PYW picks up the double.
It is. They call it. They call it, Gary.
They only had one
VG
fight
Gaming,
left.
not even sweating in this one. This is the VG Gaming that I expected to see. Maybe not the